With a return to action highly in doubt, here's a ranking of 2020's NBA free agents by position. I'll show you the top 3 talents available 1 through 5 this year, proving it's an overlooked free agent class. So which of these players could be changing jerseys this summer? Quickly, the 2019 Community Speaks giveaway awards have been shipped to last year's top 5. 2 shoutouts next video, the questions coming up, but congrats to last year's winners. Now into the ranking. Starting with the available point guards, where there's very limited options for teams looking to upgrade at this position, Jordan Clarkson's the 3rd best available, who's shown in a contract year, splitting time with the Cavaliers and Jazz, that he'll be a valuable pick-and-roll creator for any team. Clarkson's raw speed is next-level elite, however, the pace to his game with his tight handle and crafty finishing are the biggest reasons he's a 6th Man of the Year candidate, and shot a career best in field goal percentage. With Utah having $21 million in luxury tax space, I say he remains in Salt Lake City. Next, with hefty veteran experience and a seamless quarterbacking nature, if a contender's desperately in need of a crafty shot creator with experience and IQ at point guard, Goran Dragic's the ideal guy to target. Since he'll be 34 by free agency and Miami's got a multitude of up-and-coming players they'll need to commit to, after 6 seasons with Miami, it's likely Goran's played his final game in a Heat uniform. Dragic would have to take a slight pay cut, but he likely wants to win a ring. With the Lakers potentially having $20 million in cap space next year, the Dragon could be the piece that makes LA clear-cut title favorites next year. Ranking as the best 2020 point guard available is the rangy 3-point marksman and up-and-coming two-way prodigy Fred VanVleet. Frederico's got some pesky defense as he's put up the 4th most amount of steals per game this season, an annoying passing lane and on-ball defending menace. VanVleet also led the league in deflections each night, while offensively, he's got a brilliant repertoire of hesitations, stepbacks, and spins combined with flashy passing, distant shooting, and shocking finishing at the rim for his size. Very small chance Toronto loses him. I mostly think that's the case because the Raps have $52 million in luxury cap space for next year. According to Forbes, both Tim Hardaway Jr. and the Mavericks are possibly interested in a long-term extension. Because he's having a career year, he'll definitely opt out of his player option with the Mavs next year where he'd make $18.9 million. But it's best the talented, springy scorer capitalizes on the nice year he's had and gets multiple more years of making 15+ mil per year. Possibly the best marksman in the league, it's crucial the Nets come to an agreement with the floor spacer for the Snake and Uncle Drew next year, Joe Harris, making over 41% of his shots from behind the 3-point line this season. That was actually a down year for the Nets sniper, as the season prior he made a staggering 47.4% of those shots to lead the NBA in that area. I think the Nets have a great thing going in their organization right now, and I think they signed Joe on the first day of free agency. A tad more versatile offensively than Joe is the French guard lighting it up in downtown Orlando, Evan Fournier. His career high in field goal percentage and 19 points per game have flown completely under the radar, but if you didn't know, Fournier's added many facets to his game. Morphing from a pure shooter from deep like he was in his younger days, Evan now has the ability to escape defenses blitzing him in the pick and roll with either an unforeseen pass or attacks off the dribble. He'll opt out of his $17 million deal to try and earn over $20 million, and I think Orlando commits to him long term. It's not like they have an up-and-coming player at shooting guard who Evan's taking away minutes from. For a while in 2019-20, DeMar DeRozan was the last guard to attempt 16+ field goals per game and shoot over 52% from the floor since Michael Jordan. Even though he struggles at times defensively, that stat just shows you how advanced DeRozan's efficiency has become since his days with the Raptors where they demanded him to shoot the 3-point shot. At first, I didn't think it would be a good fit, but I'd love to see him in a Hawks uniform where, as his career progressed and Kevin Huerter developed, DeMar could shift into Atlanta's 6th man. Regardless, he's reportedly unhappy in San Antonio, and he may want to contend for a title immediately, so he could go somewhere else. The 5th best small forward available next summer's Derrick Jones Jr., but the 23-year-old 2020 dunk champs got as much potential as any player discussed this video. Amongst all forwards in defensive rating, Jones is right beside the most reputable lockdown wing defenders in basketball, ranking as the 7th most valuable defender in the NBA. He's yet to keep his 3-point shot consistent, but his 7-foot wingspan and insane bounce essentially makes Derrick Jones Jr.'s upside unlimited. Heat president Pat Riley knows what he's doing and will likely keep him in Miami. Danilo Gallinari's changed his reputation as an injury-prone player into the lethal scorer he was once known as in his last 2 seasons. 2019-20 saw him put up around 20 points on pretty damn solid efficiency. If Gallo wants to put NBA champion on his resume, he should sign and take a pay cut to return to the Clippers, who have $24 million of luxury tax space available. Danilo's currently making $22 million per year. Maybe it's about the money, but as a longtime fan of the 12-year crafty wing-scoring vet, I want to see him competing deep into the postseason. A solid athlete, an all-out hustle player on both sides of the ball. You probably don't think of great passer when you hear Rondae Hollis-Jefferson's name, but he has an underrated awareness to make passes that very few at his position could make. Hollis-Jefferson's also an elite board getter, ranking first just above Jimmy Butler among small and power forwards for the most offensive rebounds per game in the league. His defense also helped fill a massive hole on the wing for the Raptors after they lost Kawhi. If Toronto makes Rondae a top priority, they can probably lock him up early in free agency, but they have a bunch of crucial players they have to commit to. He'll be on a bunch of contenders' radar looking to upgrade their toughness. I think either the Celtics or the Pacers would be a perfect fit. Storming back onto the scene this year, Carmelo Anthony's free agency value is about to be sky high, especially given how his rhythm will be even better next year. Considering he was a free agent for exactly 1 year and 7 days, and then made his highest percentage of three-point shots since 2016-17, shows that this new motivated version of Melo could be something special in 2020-21. I could see both the Lakers and Clippers making strong pitches to the soon-to-be 36-year-old Anthony. That is if he's willing to take a bench role, but quite honestly, staying put in Rip City with the Blazers is the best fit for him in my opinion. Denver's likely going to let Paul Millsap walk, as youngins Michael Porter Jr. and Torrey Craig should be able to fill the power forward spot for Denver. I know they're traditionally threes, but this is the new age NBA. That'll allow the recently turned 35-year-old Paul Millsap to secure a fairly heavy bag, because there's very few foremen available and plenty of teams looking for a stretch big as lethal as Millsap can be when he gets it going. I'd like to see him go to the nation's capital to space the floor out for Beal and hopefully a recovered after the outbreak John Wall. DC would add a veteran in Paul that could mentor the likes of Rui Hachimura, Maurice Wagner, and Thomas Bryant while staying in win now mode, which is crucial being they're committed to their all-star backcourt long term. The young floor spacing big that broke out for those very Wizards after being moved from San Antonio is the sniping Latvian Davis Bertans. I think he fits perfectly with almost any team, but most specifically with the Thunder in Oklahoma City. He'd thrive catching and shooting next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and CP3, and would be the ideal four-man to have next to Steven Adams in the low post to space the floor out for him. Montrezl Harrell made just $6 million in 2019-20. You can bet he'll be a hot commodity on the market, and he'll be looking to lock in a substantial deal. There's $24 million in luxury tax space for the Clippers to work with. I think they lock up their beastly bench big, but he'll likely get max offers from teams like the New York Knicks, and if it's about the money for Harrell, he'll move on from LA. His two Clipper teammates are making $33+ million per year. None of us can blame Montrez if he wants that much as well. He's one of the best finishers inside in the game today, and his hustle's matched by very few players. It's the practical move for Anthony Davis to opt out of his player option with the Lakers to sign the biggest deal long-term while he can. No other teams are getting close to touching Davis this offseason though. I can see the best power forward/center in the game, AD, remaining in the purple and gold for the rest of his career. Leading off and ranked the 5th best at his position in the 2020 free agent class, Aaron Baines in 22 minutes for Phoenix posted career highs in points, rebounds, and three-point field goal percentage. He fit nicely with Phoenix, but the Australian's 33 at this point, and the Suns are still at least 2 years away from reaching contender status. The Miami Heat have an insane amount of 2020-21 cap space and can let their overpaid players Myers Leonard, Solomon Hill, Goran Dragic, and Jay Crowder, who made over $77 million combined this season, walk this summer. So that means that he could honestly make a run at a bunch of these free agents mentioned today. Toronto's man in the middle makes the Raptors' offense click with his swift passing and patented perimeter shooting. Despite having an off year shooting the basketball, a campaign in which he also was getting constantly sidelined with injuries, I don't see a reason Masai and Bobby Webster can't reach a deal to keep the NBA champion Gasol north of the border. He's not the Memphis version of himself, but Mark can still get it done when his team needs him most. Because he had an off year, the Raptors could probably get him for a discount. Next is Dwight Howard, and if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you know him as Skinny Dwight. His bounce-back play with the Lakers this year could earn him around $15 million annually, but I think at this point, the 16-year veteran Dwight, who's really seen it all in this league, realizes that the Lakers organization is as valuable to him as he is to them, meaning personality-wise, in the pick and roll, and defensively. He's a perfect fit backing up Anthony Davis, and his chemistry with LeBron is on point. I think Dwight takes a pay cut and returns to Los Angeles for the 2021 season. Hassan just led the league in blocks, and his offensive production was stellar. While Whiteside's defensive rating has dropped off from last year, given the team he's on, he's ranked the 12th most valuable defender at his position. That's still pretty solid efficiency. Last year, though, he led all centers in defensive rating, getting very little credit for that from the media. In my opinion, he's one of the more underrated players in basketball. Down in New Orleans, Jackson Hayes is still developing, and the Pelicans have a ton of cap space. Whiteside could seamlessly step in to catch lobs from Lonzo and nicely play off young killers Ingram and Williamson. As highlighted in my Veterans Bouncing Back Top 10, Serge Ibaka's raised his three-point percentage by 11%. And became the first player in NBA history with both 1,500 blocks and 500 threes. Additionally, Ibaka can stick with guards on the perimeter and score in the paint. Without a doubt, he'll be the most desired player who almost strictly plays the center spot, as when Toronto's fully healthy, he's their backup 5-man. But the Raptors simply can't afford all four of Hollis Jefferson, Van Vliet, Gasol, and Ibaka, right? Even though Mafuzi Chef's a fan favorite in the six, other teams could outbid the Raptors if they don't make him their first priority. He looked pretty good next to Porzingis in Dallas, but let me know who you think is most likely to change teams this year for the shoutout next video. Many more lists and stories on their way. Even as we get through these tough times, keep watching some intriguing top 10s I've made recently. Also, if you want, go follow me on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on when I post and much more. This was your boy D Flow. I'll see you next video.